Are you a resolutionary? I was in the gym yesterday and I had to laugh a little bit because unlike the last few weeks, I was actually able to get a piece of equipment. The ellipticals and the treadmills and the weight machines and even the lap pool. There was plenty of space for everybody. And I laugh because I've been going to the gym a long time in different places and different gyms, and sure enough, like the beginning of the year, it's like people are just wide open. We're gonna get in shape. We're gonna do the thing, and then it gets to be about mid-January, and it's like, yeah, this is hard. And I'm not making fun. Maybe making fun. I make fun from a place of love, if that's you, and it probably is you because so many of us do this. But I've been thinking about this idea of resolutionary, and it's not just, New Year's is kind of the time when we think about it, but we do this all the time, right? And I mean, I've seen it with clients, and I've seen it with other people in my life, and there's this idea of the resolutionary versus the creator is kind of how I think about it. The person who creates, the person who actually changes things, changes their life, changes their circumstances, versus a resolutionary. And let me talk a little bit about what I mean. There's this performative energy to resolutionaries. There's this sense of like big, dramatic, Oscar-worthy kind of thing. And the truth is that real change, real growth is not very sexy. It's just really slow and methodical, and there's a lot of consistency, and there's a lot of just doing the same thing over and over again. Not always the same thing over and over again, but there's this like tortoise energy to it. I used to send my clients a book, and I would say, hey, be on the lookout for a book. It's the most important business book I've ever read. It'll change the way you think about your life and your business. And they're expecting something from Dale Carnegie or Stephen Covey or I don't know what they're expecting. And it's the tortoise and the hare, right? And it's like the tortoise wins every time. The tortoise is resolutionary. Right, he's like jumping out of the starting blocks and running down the path and the whatever. And the tortoise is just plodding along. Not much fun to watch, but consistent. And he wins every single time. So that's kind of what we're talking about. There's this idea of like these sweeping declarations, and instead of small changes that we see with resolutionaries. And there's this, like I said, like this dramatic nature to them. And there's this other idea of like confusing declaration for action, right? This idea of declaring, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this beautiful plan. I'm going to make this beautiful spreadsheet. And I'm going to tell all my friends. I'm going to buy all this gear and equipment and whatever it is. And that feels like action. That feels like people are doing, right? I see this in business. I was thinking about this guy that I think I might have talked about him a little bit before, but he just, he made an impression on me. That was a super smart guy who worked in IT. And just one of those guys you're around and you're just like, ooh, that's a smart dude, right? You can just sense it. And loving and kind, and like, just a good guy. And he decided he wanted to do some coaching, offer some coaching to people in his industry. It's a great idea. And he asked me for some thoughts and whatnot. He wasn't going to hire me, but it was fine. I'm happy to help him. And basically it was like, you need to take some action. And he had this certification, that certification. And he said, I know what I'm going to do. There's this new certification I read about. I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend a year getting that certification. And I was like, you can do that, but why don't you go get somebody to pay you and like find out if you suck or not? Because certifications are fine. I'm a big believer in ongoing training, no matter what field you're in. But there's this idea of like we can prepare ourselves so that we don't have to experience any discomfort. That's what it comes down to, because we lie to ourselves and tell us we're going to prepare, we're going to get in shape this year. This is the year we do it. Hey, dude, hey, lady, hey, partner, hey, kids, hey, world, hey, Instagram, hey, Facebook, I'm going to get in shape this year. Look at my new, Lululemon workout gear or whatever it is. Look, I bought a $4,000 treadmill and broke my back putting it in my basement. We like all this preparation, and we think, oh, I've been working hard on this. You hadn't done shit. You hadn't done shit. What I'm more impressed with is the person who just straps on their old sneakers and if it's January, puts on a coat and a scarf and goes and walks around the block 4 or 5 times. And then gets up tomorrow morning and does it again. And then gets up tomorrow morning and maybe walks 5 or 6 laps and then you know what I'm saying? That's the person, that's the creator, that's the change agent, that's the powerful person. And here's the part of the problem. And here's why people join a gym on January 1st and by January 30th, they've came and find their membership. It's willpower. We're trying to take that energy of like that big energy, which by the way, it's not sustainable. That hey world, I'm gonna change. It's fun, it feels great. But it's like a match. It lights and then goes out, right? That's the way willpower is too. I'm gonna push really hard. I'm gonna make this happen. And then when it gets hard and gets tiring, and our willpower is gone, like our resources are gone. The match is burned up. All the flammable stuff on the end of the matchstick is gone. There's nothing left. What works is the small, consistent actions, the tortoise energy. That's how we win. That's how we win. You gotta have a vision for yourself too, a vision for your life. Because vision gets you out of bed when willpower will not. Do you have a vision for your life? What are you creating? So we want to think more in terms of less revolution and more evolution. The difference between a revolution and a move is that a revolution requires energy and a movement creates energy. We want to be an evolutionary piece, the movement piece, and less in the revolutionary piece. And the sort of like the question of how do you do that is that's a much bigger topic, bigger thing. But generally, like we create systems, and the system of creating the system looks something like this. We really get clear on what we want or what we think we might want. And it's funny, I'll ask this to people all the time. What do I'm in this situation, that situation, the business and the family and the da-da-da-da-da. And I'll say, well, like, what do you want to be true? What do you want your relationship to look? What do you want your business to look like? How do you want to feel when you walk in the door, coming home at night? How do you want to feel when you walk into your job? People can't answer that very often. People can't answer it, but they don't know. And again, this gets into perfectionism, right? Because they think they have to have a perfect vision. They have to be able to articulate exactly what they want. Here's what I want my business to be, and here's every detail before they do the first thing. No, like what do you kind of, sort of want? What seems like a cool vision that's sort of in that direction or in that direction to get you oriented for a place to start? What do you kind of see for yourself? And start there. I would love to build a business in the nonprofit sector that really helps people who are struggling in a bunch of different life circumstances. I want to build a business that allows me to travel. That's a good starter vision. I want to build a relationship with my kids where they don't hate me. Where they don't hate me in 10 years. Like we can start with something. So the system is getting some sort of vision nailed down. And then a rough idea of what we want to do over the next, say, quarter. What are a couple of goals, a couple of things that I would, a couple of things if I were to accomplish them in the context of this vision would feel like a really big win. What are those couple of? Then we map out, and here's where it gets important. Then we take all that and put it on the shelf. And then we say, what do I need to do today to move towards those goals? What 2 or 3 or 4 actions do I need to take today? Then you take those actions. And you get up tomorrow, you take them again. And you get up tomorrow, and you take them again. And you get up tomorrow, and you take them again. And you're paying attention, like, is this moving in the right direction? Does this feel right? And you evaluate. And at some point you might say, you know what, this isn't working, let me try something. Or you say, wow, this is actually kind of working. Let's do more of that. But you don't know. You don't have that data until you try some stuff, until you take some action. That's the missing part. Data is freaking valuable. It's worth its weight in gold. Ideas are a dime a dozen, and you only get the data when you take the action. I call it developing a prejudice towards action. What are you going to do in this situation? I don't know exactly what, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to take some sort of action. I want that to be your response. I don't want the response to be, you know what? I'm going to think about it for about 6 months. I'm going to read 3 books. I'm going to watch 4 podcasts, listen to 4 podcasts, watch 39 YouTube videos. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be busy doing all this research stuff. Like that's what resolutionaries do. Change agents take action. They do shit. Who makes fewer mistakes? Who makes more mistakes? Resolutionaries or change agents? Resolutionaries make no mistakes because they're not doing anything. Another question I love to ask somebody is like, within the context of whatever we're talking about in the relationship or their health or their business or whatever. I'll say, what's a huge mistake you've made in the last month? And if somebody can go, I did this and this and this and this and this. Like, okay, this person is an act. If they say, okay, I haven't really made any mistakes. I'm like, I'm suspicious. Like, what you been doing? Because you're not making mistakes. The only way to make mistakes is to be taken action. So the real question is, you've been asking the wrong question. We've been asking the wrong question is part of the problem. And so what we've been asking is, what do I want to change? Or what do you want to change? And the better question, the real question is, who do you want to become? Who do you want to become? Opens the door to real possibility. Because when you can articulate who you want to become, the kind of man or woman you want to be, when you can articulate how you want to show up in the world, when you can articulate the impact that you want to have on your family or your business or the community or industry or the world, then you're talking. Then you are talking. Because then you have a target to move to. Then you can lay out action. And you can take, it's not just action. I talk about not just doing random shit, but taking high quality action as far as you can tell. Sometimes you're doing stuff that you think is high quality and turns out to be useless. But you don't know. Those are the mistakes I was talking about. But you don't know. You don't know where the high quality action is until you start doing stuff. And then you sort it. You evaluate. Oh, these are the high quality actions. This is the crap. I'm going to do more of this. I'm going to stop that altogether. So we're not looking for January magic here. What we're talking about, what we're looking for, is making a daily choice and then taking action on that choice. We're talking about adopting the cloak of change agent, deciding to be a creator. Your first act of creation is creating yourself as a creator. You just decide, I'm a creator now. I'm gonna go make shit happen. I'm somebody that happens to the world. The world doesn't happen to me anymore, starting right now. Then you can retire from the resolutionary business. Because you are capable of so much. The possibilities are absolutely almost unlimited. When you decide to be a creator, when you choose to be a change agent, the only limit are your own creativity. So go out there and create. Go out there and change your world.